Senator Chasteen, Senator Gavan, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, and Senator Jones.
Here. All right, we have a quorum present. Clerk, call the first bill.
SB 67 by
All right.
Senator Chambliss.
Senator Chambliss. Somebody help us with the mic. You just want to, yeah, just present up here. That's be just fine.
Only two ways, on or off.
There we go.
Senate Bill 67 is a bill that was brought to me, or an issue that was brought to me by a constituent last year. And it deals with the scholarship programs with the National Guard, and that being a last dollar scholarship. And I understand the need and necessity to do that. If there's going to be an academic scholarship, that comes first, and whatever's left over, that kind of thing. Well, this particular constituent, he is training to become a fighter pilot, and he had a full academic scholarship to Auburn University, which all that was taken care of. But in that training, there are flight trainings that he has to do that gets him toward that goal. Well, they, because he had all this other paid, they denied this request. Meanwhile, he was a straight A student. Meanwhile, his buddy that was middle of the road, they paid all of his. So he was getting penalized for being a good student. Now, I know I've heard from some of the higher education folks. We've had a year to hear from them, and I introduced the bill, and then I start hearing from them. I've given them another week to let me know what the issues are, and I still haven't heard back. So what I need to do and what I hope to do is move the bill through committee today. I will work with them, but they have to give me information. If there's things we need to change in the bill, I'm open to that, but I need them to get back with me and resolve those issues.
All right, got a motion from Senator Bell. Second by Senator Chasteen. All right, clerk, call the roll. Long roll, please.
Senator Barfoot, Senator Beasley, Senator Bell, Senator Carnley, Senator Chasteen, Senator Gavan, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Jones.
Aye.
8.
All right, 8-0, bill's given a favorable report. Thank you, Senator Chambliss.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members.
All right, Senator Barfoot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, if I could remain here, if that's all right with you.
Yes.
So the bill that you have before you, SB 170, is in response to the federal courts, and I think rightfully so. Judge Watkins struck down parts of Alabama's loitering statute. That's 13A11-9 and 32-5A216. As a side note, now I feel a little bit vindicated because years ago I argued the very point that was before Judge Watkins, that it was a violation of free speech as the current statute set up. So this bill does a couple of different things. It removes the purpose of begging from 13A11-9 and just reiterates that loitering on a roadway maintained by the state or right-of-way of the public roadway maintained by the state. The rest of that language, going down to page 4 in the statute, is current law, was not subject to any court order or case. And then it maintains that loitering is a violation. And as y'all know, violation is the lowest form. It's basically a ticket is a violation. A second or subsequent violation under in the same jurisdiction can be a Class C misdemeanor. There's some safeguards in there, though, and those safeguards are that an arresting officer for a violation may instruct a person that's violated or is in violation of subsection A1 to immediately and peacefully exit the roadway. And the second part in there, prior to an arrest under, the Class C misdemeanor, that law enforcement officer may offer to transport a person in violation of subsection A1 to a center that offers some type of emergency housing. So there is some grace in there. It complies with what the federal courts have said. Does strike out the portions that were subject to the court order, and I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Mr. Chairman? Senator
Gotcha.
Barfoot, you mentioned that the courts, what was the court's opinion of this? Because we had a recent.
Yeah, Judge Watkins, and I wish I'd had it, I left it at the house, but Judge Watkins had a one-page order that basically, if you see the sections of these two statutes that have been deleted,
Right.
that is in compliance with what I believe Judge Watkins' order was, that struck down those portions of the existing statute as being unconstitutional, so.
Okay, okay. Chairman, so move.
All right, we've got a motion for favorable. All right, second, Senator Bell. All right, any objection using previous roll? All right, hearing none, so ordered. 8-0, bill's given a favorable report. All right, clerk, call the next
Chair.
bill.
SB 199 by Senator Orr.
Morning, Senator Orr.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. Good to see y'all out. This is a bill of first impression. It comes from witnessing the protest that happened outside of Justice Kavanaugh's house in Virginia. And my thinking here is this. If you have your home or wherever you reside, what right do people have to come stand right out on the public property on the sidewalk with bullhorns and march around and disturb the neighborhood and create, I'll call it a nuisance? And a lot of cities don't have ordinances that would address this. This bill I would see as a backstop. But you could, and it's not just elected people. It could be a mayor, it could be a legislator, it could be, councilman, but it could be an attorney representing a very unpopular client. And in today's world with social media, I think we'll probably be, regrettably, seeing more and more of this type activity attempted. I showed it to Judiciary Chairman Barfoot to look at. He had a thought or idea. We'll maybe need to put something on it on the floor. It was minor in nature, if I recall. But anyway, open to any suggestions, ideas, but it's something that I think we need to at least have the conversation and debate about.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Barfoot.
if I could, the point I think that I made on that is on line 58, which is on page 3, no person shall picket or protest at or near a residence occupied, and I think that's pretty vague. I'm not sure what near would be, and so that would be a concern that I had. Maybe we need to tighten that language up. I'm supportive of the bill, what you're trying to accomplish. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, any further discussion? All right, do I have a motion for, all right, Senator Carnley. All right, second, Senator Kelly. Any objection using previous roll? All right, hearing none, so ordered. 8-0, bill's given a favorable report. All right, mark Senator Hatcher as an abstention. 7-0, 1 abstention, bill's given a favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Thank you, Senator Orr. All right, clerk, call the next bill, please.
SB 114 by Senator Kelly.
All right, Senator Kelly.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this bill would provide when a nonprofit veterans organization, by means of a revisionary clause in the deed, acquires a possessory interest in a state armory building with the intent of the use of the facility to further the organization's support of veterans or active duty, that the building shall be deemed in compliance with applicable state and local building codes for not less than 10 calendar years. If you read this bill and you go pretty in depth, there's probably likely only one building in the state that this would fall under these current conditions. The issue that they're having is because of the revisionary clause in the deed, in order to raise the money and do some funds for a use that the building has already been used for as an armory, it would be cost prohibitive for them to do that. So what this is doing is allowing them time to raise those funds to meet that local building code. And the building has been used for this in the same use that it's been using for some time, and it deals only with the armories. And so that would be what this bill's about, basically giving them time. It doesn't exempt them from ADA or anything like that.
Any questions for the sponsor? All right, motion from Senator Hatcher, second Senator Bell. Any objection to using the, well, you want to mark as a yes? All right, well, mark, all right, Senator Van abstains, Senator Hatcher comes onto the roll, so 7-0-1, bill's given a favorable report.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kelly. All right, clerk, call the next bill.
SB 201 by Senator Carnley.
Thank you. So I was approached about this bill, in an effort to be more veteran or military friendly as a state, which we do a good job already. One of the things that has come up is in reference to insurance, liability insurance on vehicles. So what this bill would do is if we have an active military member that goes to another state and they purchase an insurance policy on their vehicle in that state, Alabama says that they will accept that other state's policy on an Alabama registered vehicle as long as it meets the Alabama mandatory minimum liability limits, which in Alabama is $25,000, $50,000 bodily injury, and $25,000 property damage. So it's not lowering, the criteria, but it just states that if they have another state's policy, that we will accept that as proof of insurance. Sometimes you get a card in the mail, says you got to provide proof of insurance, to be compliant. And if they get that, this other state's policy will be accepted. It's only for active military. So looking to change our code so that we can accept that.
Chairman, move favorable.
All right, good motion. Second, Senator Hatcher. You'll come onto the roll. All right, Senator Van comes onto the roll as a yes, and bill's given a favorable report, 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Carnley. All right, clerk will call the last bill.
HB 3 by Representative Hollis.
All right, welcome, Representative Hollis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, to the members. I'm a little jittery this morning. I drank one of those energy drinks from yesterday, and it's kind of got me wired. So anyway, HB 3 is the bill that prohibits smoking or vaping in a motor vehicle with kids that's 14 years and younger. It is a violation if you pull it over, not to exceed $100. And it is a secondary violation, so it's not just pulling anybody over. And basically, it's a health and safety thing because we know that secondhand smoke is real bad for our kids, and it could cause respiratory infections as well as delayed lung growth and asthma. So we just want our kids free. I'm not saying what you can't do. I'm just saying step outside the car like you do a building to smoke.
Okay. Any questions for the sponsor? Senator Van?
So what was the vote count on this in the House? Just curious.
I'm not sure, but I had a good yes.
Okay.
I would like your yes too today, sir.
Oh, you're gonna get that, but I'm
I can
I'm
bring.
a little disappointed it's higher ed day and you're not wearing orange and blue, but
Well, War Eagle.
Senator, it's also AKA Day, and we wear pink and green.
I have a question. So with your bill, you're just adding vaping. We're not updating or changing anything to the current law when it comes to smoking.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're just adding the term vaping to this. Were you wanting to say something?
I did. I do. But I guess many of you don't know because you're new, but many years ago, I fought for years to put on Alabama's books anti-smoking in public places. And it's called the Alabama Clean Indoor Act. One thing that I would not compromise on, because when I got here in '97, there were people who actually smoked in the hallways. And I used to have to take a can of Lysol to spray my way to the chamber. And I ended up having asthma, had an asthma attack on the floor because of that and being in that environment. So I know personally what secondhand smoke does, and it can even cause cancer in people. So I had this idea to do this bill many years ago, but I knew if I went through all the hell I did getting that little minor one passed, that was not going to fly at that time. So I think we should do everything we can to make sure our children are protected. And it doesn't hurt anybody not to smoke, but it hurts everybody within breathing range of smelling that smoke. So Representative Hollis, also my sorority sister, asked me, and I'm honored to handle this bill in the Senate. And I hope that we will get your vote for a favorable report today.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask Representative Hollis, you passed the original bill about smoking with children in the vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct, but it didn't make it out of here.
Okay. All right.
So
Thank
you
you.
didn't pass it.
Senator Hatcher.
It didn't pass.
Go right ahead, Senator.
I was about to motion.
Well, just a comment. Representative Hobbs, I thank you for what you're trying to accomplish, and I think it's a worthwhile goal, and I support you in that endeavor. One of my concerns is not this bill, but we talk about the benefits of children, for instance, riding in safety seats and car seats and appropriate car seats, and I think I'm glad it's on there, but I've always had a concern that if somebody gets pulled over for a ticket or a violation of that, and I don't remember the age or the weight limit, but, you know, if it's 50 pounds that they've got to be in there too, or 30 pounds or whatever that is how do you prove in a courtroom that they were under 30 pounds or that they were, 3 years, that may be a little bit easier to prove, but the weight on that statute. And my question, I guess, on this is how do we go about proving that there's a violation, or my concern, maybe not so much a question, but my concern is that, how do we prove that it was, a violation of this? Is that another way just to allow law enforcement to, there's a probable cause to pull somebody over? So,
Well, if you could smell smoke, cigarette smoke, because some scents are stronger than others, and it's 14 years and younger.
Well, not only that, Senator, I would think that a law enforcement officer would not pull anybody over for this violation unless they saw smoke in the car.
Right.
And you do see people with those cigarettes and going back and forth and all the smoke. In fact, many times it comes out of the exhaust and I will smell it. So,
Me too.
and I just want to say Senator Bell, was his keen legal eye pointed out a provision there that I think it's only the second violation of that to which there's a potential penalty. So I thank you.
Senator Hatcher. All right, motion by Senator Hatcher. Senator Kelly seconds. Any objection to using the previous roll? All right, 8-0, bill's given a favorable report. Thank you, Representative Hollis and Senator Figures.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Let me go start walking and walk off some of this drink.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, members.